Let me ask you something strange. Have you ever woken up from a dream that felt too vivid, too specific, like it didn't come from your own mind? Maybe it was a place you've never been, but you could describe every crack in the pavement, or a face you've never seen, but you knew deep down they were important. Maybe you've even had the same dream more than once, like a rerun of a memory that doesn't belong to you. Here's the terrifying question. What if that dream wasn't yours to begin with? We've been taught to think of dreams as personal, random, chaotic little movies stitched together from our subconscious, fragments of our day, our fears, our hopes. But what if they're not random at all? What if dreams are transmissions, and your brain is just the receiver? Yeah, stay with me. You see, the human brain emits and responds to electrical signals, measurable frequencies like a radio. When we sleep, those frequencies change. We enter what scientists call the theta state, a deep, dreamy wave that's been historically linked to creativity, memory, and psychic phenomena. Some researchers have wondered for decades, if the brain can send, could it also receive? Now here's where it gets real. In the 1970s, Soviet and American scientists were locked in a secret race, not just for space or weapons, but for control of the human mind. CIA documents from that time describe experiments in dream transmission, where subjects in one room would attempt to project images into the minds of sleeping people elsewhere. They called it telepathic suggestion. In some trials, the dreamers actually saw the images being sent. You probably never heard about that in school. Fast forward to now, and the tech has gotten sharper, more precise. Scientists at MIT and Harvard have developed wearable devices that monitor and interact with dreams in real time. One of them, called Dormio, can plant concepts into your dreams using carefully timed audio prompts. You fall asleep, and the system whispers a word like tree. Minutes later, you start dreaming about forests. That's not theory. That's been published in peer-reviewed journals. So now let's twist the knife. If researchers can gently nudge a dream using open-source tech, what could military or intelligence agencies do with black-budget tools? Think about it. Every night, billions of people plug into sleep, unguarded, unaware, their brains humming at the perfect frequency for influence. And most of us don't remember 90% of what we dream. What better place to hide a message? To insert a suggestion? To plant something that feels like your idea? Now imagine this. You wake up feeling anxious. You don't know why. Maybe it was just a dream. You go about your day, but something's off. You're more irritable, less trusting, more impulsive. You don't remember the dream, but it changed you anyway. That's not fantasy. That's subliminal conditioning. A concept as old as advertising, now upgraded for the unconscious mind. And here's the kicker. You can't opt out. You can block cookies. You can delete social media. But when you sleep, you're wide open. No firewall, no VPN. Just you and your brainwaves. Now, let's go deeper. Have you ever had a dream that wasn't in first person? Like you were watching someone else's life? Feeling someone else's pain? Seeing through someone else's eyes? You might chalk that up to imagination. But what if it wasn't? There are theories, whispers really, that dreams are part of a collective field, a kind of low-frequency internet of the unconscious. And just like your phone might accidentally connect to the wrong Bluetooth speaker, your brain might be picking up someone else's signal, a stranger's memory, a fragment of another mind, a broadcast meant for someone else, but caught by you. And here's what really keeps me up at night. What if some of these broadcasts aren't human at all? But we'll get to that. For now, I just want to leave you with one thought. Tonight, when you go to sleep and the images begin to blur and melt and spin, don't assume they came from you. Don't assume they belong to you. And whatever you do, don't trust everything you see. Okay, let's stop pretending this is science fiction. Because the truth, Governments have been obsessed with your dreams for a long time, not because they care about your subconscious fears or childhood memories, but because they know something you don't. Dreams can be manipulated. And when they can be manipulated, they can be weaponized. Let's rewind to the 1950s. The CIA launches Project MKULTRA, the now declassified program that used LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and torture to explore ways to control the human mind. What most people don't know is that a large portion of MKULTRA focused on sleep disruption, dream control, and altered consciousness. Why? Because sleep is when you're at your most vulnerable. It's when the conscious gatekeeper of your brain, the one that questions, doubts, resists, goes offline. And if someone can access your brain at that exact moment, when logic is silent and emotion takes over, they can rewrite you without you ever knowing. In MKULTRA documents, researchers describe sleep learning, dream implantation, and post-hypnotic suggestion without memory of induction. In plain English, they were trying to insert commands directly into your dreams and make you act on them after you woke up. Did it work? We'll never fully know. The CIA destroyed most of the files, but the experiments didn't stop. They just moved underground, then rebranded. Enter Project Stargate, Sub-Project 54, and the even murkier Operation Centerpoint, a rumored initiative that combined microwave-based neurodisruption and dream phase data mapping. Whistleblowers from DARPA and former military psychologists have hinted that certain dream control techniques were refined, digitized, and deployed. But deployed how and on whom? That's where things get even creepier. In the late 1990s, an experiment allegedly took place at a behavioral optimization facility in New Mexico. The goal? Create shared dream experiences among disconnected individuals. No drugs, no physical contact, just exposure to synchronized audio pulses during REM sleep. According to leaked notes, not only did the subjects report similar dream themes, they described the exact same people, locations, and even conversations, despite never having met. Think about that. We spend billions exploring outer space, but the government poured secret funding into shared inner space. Why? Because if dreams can be synchronized, they can be engineered. If they can be engineered, they can be monetized, weaponized, and standardized. So the next question is, are these experiments still happening? The answer might be right in your pocket. Smartphones emit low-level EMFs. Wireless earbuds sit inside your skull. Smartwatches track your sleep stages. And many of the apps you install, yes, even the meditation ones, have access to your sleep patterns. Some even use your microphone while you sleep. For what purpose? They say it's to monitor snoring or noise disturbances. But how hard would it be to send sub-audible cues in return? You'd never know. You'd dream something that feels disconnected, strange yet familiar. You'd wake up with a subtle emotion you can't explain. Maybe a sudden urge to do something, buy something, fear something, love someone. That's not just science, that's behavioral conditioning. And it's already happening. In 2021, over 40 prominent sleep researchers signed an open letter warning that advertisers were attempting to infiltrate consumer dreams. Major beer companies, fast food brands, even electronics giants had started experimenting with targeted dream incubation. Their goal? Get you to associate their products with your unconscious pleasure zones. That's right. Your dreams are being sold. And if advertisers are doing it, what makes you think governments aren't? So here's what I'm asking you. When you lie down tonight, when your eyes close and your body relaxes, are you really going inward? Or are you logging in to something larger? Are you dreaming? Or are you receiving? And if you are receiving, who's sending? Let's talk about something that should be impossible. Thousands, no, millions of people from all over the world report dreaming the exact same things. I'm not talking about general themes like flying or falling. I'm talking about specific images, specific faces, specific places, and none of us can explain why. Have you ever seen the man in the hat? Tall, shadowy, featureless face. He doesn't speak. He just stands at the end of your bed. Or worse, sits on your chest while you sleep. People across cultures, languages, and continents have described him in terrifying detail. Psychologists call him the Hat Man, a common sleep paralysis figure. But here's the thing. Many people dream about him without ever hearing of him first. So, how does that happen? Let's go deeper. There's a place dreamers call the endless staircase. A gray, dimly lit spiral that seems to lead both up and down forever. People who've never met, never spoken, describe the same cracked walls, the same humming sound, the same feeling, like you're being watched from above. There's the flooded city. You're walking through a half-submerged metropolis. Water is calm but deep. The buildings are always brutalist. The sky is dark green. And somehow, you know you're not supposed to be there. There's the mirror room. You look into the glass and your reflection doesn't follow you. Sometimes, it blinks when you don't. Sometimes, it walks away. Do these sound familiar? If not, give it time. Because these motifs are showing up in online forums, in Reddit threads, in TikTok dream diaries. Thousands of people are sharing nearly identical dream fragments without prior exposure to each other's experiences. And these aren't copycats. Many of the accounts predate the virality. People are describing the same architecture, the same nonverbal rules, the same entities. So here's the question no one wants to ask. What if these aren't just symbols? What if they're locations? And what if we all go there when we dream? The idea sounds insane, until you realize it's been around for centuries. Ancient cultures believed in the dream realm, a shared plane accessible only in sleep. The Egyptians called it Duat. The Sumerians called it Kur. The Aboriginal people of Australia call it the dreaming, a space more real than waking life, where souls travel, messages are exchanged, and destinies are rewritten. Modern science scoffs at the idea. But modern science also can't explain why people with no connection to each other report such eerily parallel experiences. Let me hit you with this. There's an entire field of fringe neuroscience called oneironautics, the study of dream travel. Not just lucid dreaming, but intentional exploration of shared dreamscapes. Practitioners claim to meet others, real, living people, inside these worlds. They keep logs. They describe locations that change over time, as if evolving like real cities. Some even claim you can leave messages for others. A word written on a wall, a symbol carved into a tree, and weeks later, someone across the planet sees it in their dream. Coincidence? Or evidence of an invisible network we've only just begun to glimpse? Now, let's introduce one final twist: dream bleed. That's what researchers call it when a dream crosses over. Not just between nights, but between people. You dream of a flooded city. The next day, your friend says they dreamed they were drowning, but in a building shaped just like the one you saw. Is this just narrative bias? Shared cultural memory? Maybe. Or maybe we're all unknowingly logging into the same subconscious mainframe every night. What if your dreams aren't just yours? What if they're windows, shared, monitored, even curated? Because if a place like the mirror room exists in thousands of minds, then maybe it's not a dream at all. Maybe it's a construct, a corridor, a trap. And the real question becomes, who built it? And why are they letting us in? Let me ask you something bold. What if your dreams aren't dreams at all, but updates? Not the spiritual kind. Not metaphysical downloads from the universe. I'm talking literal neural programming, silently pushed into your brain like a midnight software patch, while you sleep, defenseless and unaware. Sounds like science fiction, right? Except it's not. In 2023, researchers in Tokyo announced a breakthrough in targeted memory reactivation using machine learning and sleep stage tracking. They didn't just influence dreams. They injected content, sounds, smells, even emotion-triggering words into sleeping subjects and watched how their behavior changed afterward. Some people woke up afraid of things they were never afraid of. Others reported memories that felt real, but never happened. Now apply that at scale. What happens when you link that technology to wearable devices? To smartwatches, Bluetooth earbuds, sleep tracking mattresses? You've already accepted them into your home, into your bed, into your headspace. And it's not just universities doing this. Military research into neurointerfacing has jumped several tiers in the last decade. DARPA has invested over $60 million into what they call non-invasive brain-to-computer communication. Translation: sending and receiving data from your brain without opening your skull. No surgery, just signal. And here's the dangerous part. They're experimenting with this tech not only while you're awake, but during REM sleep. Because REM is when your mind is most impressionable. No distractions, no rational defense, just raw, vulnerable consciousness waiting to be filled. And who's filling it? Let's talk about corporate applications. Tech startups are now beta testing AI-generated dream content. They call it sleep enhancement. Sounds cozy, right? Until you realize what it really means. Artificial intelligence studying your behavior, then designing custom dream experiences tailored to manipulate your subconscious. You had a stressful week? Here's a dream of a vacation, sponsored by a travel app. Feeling lonely? Here's a faceless partner who touches your arm and whispers things you didn't know you needed to hear. Wake up, and you suddenly feel like buying something, calling someone, quitting your job, but why? Because the feeling was planted. It grew inside a dream. This is real tech, real patents, real companies. And you didn't sign up for any of it. Because here's the catch. You don't need to consent to dream influence. All they need is access to your sleep pattern and a delivery vector, an inaudible frequency, a subliminal loop, a shift in the ambient data around you. They don't have to enter your dreams. They just have to reroute them. And if they can reroute a dream, they can reshape a mind. Let me make this personal. Have you ever woken up crying and didn't know why? Ever felt like you needed to apologize to someone for something they didn't do? Ever had a dream that changed how you saw everything? A belief, a relationship, a choice, without a clear reason? What if that wasn't your subconscious working something out? What if that was a synthetic dream, inserted like a virus, reprogramming your emotional operating system? Let's go darker. What if dream injection isn't just about selling products, but selling ideas? Influence elections, shape worldviews, trigger or suppress dissent. No riots, no violence, just quiet compliance. What better delivery system than the one place no one ever thinks to defend? Your dreams. Because you won't question what you can't remember. You won't resist what you think came from inside you. And you'll never know what you lost if the thing that replaced it feels like it was always there. So tonight, when you close your eyes, pay attention to the voices, to the symbols, to the decisions you make inside the dream. And when you wake up, ask yourself, did I just rest? Or did someone just write a new chapter into my head? Because in a world where everything is hacked, dreams were never going to stay sacred.